What is up, you guys? If you're new here, hello, my name is Brittany, and in today's video we're doing another foundation wear test. Now, it's been a minute since I've done one of these. This is actually my second attempt at doing this because I wore this once throughout the day and I totally forgot to check in. Like, I was doing so much shit. So I totally forgot to check in. I didn't even pay attention how it wore on my skin. So this is going to be a second look at this Makeup Revolution Conceal and Define Full Coverage Foundation. Like I said, I have worn this already, but I didn't really pay attention to anything with it. And the only thing that I really noticed about it was too light. Like, this shade is too light for me. So if you leave the comment, girl, that foundation's too light for you, I already know. So with this foundation, I would class this as a drugstore foundation just because the price point is $12. So that is super affordable for a foundation. And you get 0.8 fluid ounces, so you get almost a full ounce for 12 bucks. That to me is drugstore price. Like, let's face it, drugstore is getting to like $15 to $20 for some foundations now. So I feel like this classifies as a drugstore foundation, and you can get this at Ulta, which I always shop at Ulta. I fucking love Ulta because their point system is on point. So you can get this at Ulta, it's 12 bucks, and this brand always has like buy one get one half off and stuff like that. So I would definitely wait till it is on sale just because I'm a cheap ass bitch. So again, I would classify this as a drugstore foundation. So if I'm saying drugstore, even though it's not technically found at the drugstore, do not come for me, please. So I picked up the shade F7, and I did pick this up at Ulta for $12. So if you're new, I'm going to really quick just go over the type of skin that I have. So I have light to medium skin with a neutral undertone. So that means I'm not really yellow, I'm not really pink, I'm really right in the middle. Either one I could make work, but I prefer a neutral undertone, and this one supposedly has that. So like I said, I have the shade F7, and I do have combination skin. So the outer perimeter of my skin is usually dry or like normal, whereas the inner part of my face, like my T-zone area, that usually gets a little bit more oily. So where my foundations typically break up is like right in my nose area, the tip of my nose. My forehead is a really big concern for me because I have a lot of texture on my skin. So overall, that's like an overview of the type of skin that I have. So anytime you're watching these types of videos, make sure you're mindful of the person that you're watching and their skin. And even if you have the same type of skin as me, that does not mean it's going to perform the same on you as it does on me. So just be aware, like, these videos are for educational purposes, but that doesn't mean like if it works for me, it's definitely going to work for you, and vice versa. Like, you could get this foundation and love it. I encourage everybody, since this is a drugstore price range, if you're interested enough to get it, I would definitely pick it up. And if you don't like it, you can always return it. Just take these videos into consideration. Like, see how it wears on some people, if you like the coverage and stuff like that. So I just don't want people being like, oh my god, she loves it, that means I need it, because I used to be that person. I am by no means like the tell-all of makeup. This is just my opinion and my experiences with it, and hopefully it helps you guys in deciding if you want to get these products or not. So that's it for all of that, and now let's jump into the claims that this foundation has. So I wrote them on a little post-it note. I read through like the whole Makeup Revolution claims list and everything, and these were the key points that I felt were important to mention. So these are what I'm going to talk about right now. So it claims to be lightweight, buildable coverage. It has 24 shades, which a lot of people, when they hear 24 shades, they're like, oh bitch, they could have done better, which I still think that they could definitely expand, but I think 24 shades for an initial launch with the variation that they have is a really good start, because it's not like they have like Tarte Shape Tape where they had like a ton of light and medium skin tones and then like 2 dark skin tones. You know what I mean? Like, they have a really fair range within each different type of skin tone. This foundation goes from super light complexions to deep dark complexions, so I feel like this is a really nice shade range, and I will leave a shade range like clip right on the screen right now just so you guys can see what I'm talking about. Like, it has a really fair amount of shades, but the claims do say that it's going to fit every skin tone, which I think that's a long shot. I think there's a lot more skin tones out there than just 24 shades, so I think everybody could probably make a shade work, but I'm just kind of going by what I see online and see in pictures. I've never seen this in store yet, so I would encourage you guys, if you see it in store, swatch it, see if it matches. But I feel like most skin tones could get a foundation shade that would work for them. So it also says it is oil-free, long-lasting, it's a demi-matte finish. It says it won't settle into fine lines or cling to dry patches, and it also has a real skin finish. So when it says full coverage foundation, but then it says a real skin finish, that to me is hard to believe. Like, when you think full coverage foundation, you think it's going to be not really natural looking at all. So I'm very curious to see. Like, I can't honestly remember how it looked on my skin last time. Like I said, I was just not even paying attention to it. It was just the main thing that I noticed was I looked a lot lighter. So that's everything for the claims that I felt were important to really look at throughout the day. So I will go over all of these later on tonight. So now I'm just going to go in and prime my skin. I'm going to use the Fundamental Smoothing Primer from Collab Makeup. So when I'm doing these types of product reviews, I like to use a lot of the same products that I'm already familiar with and I know that I like. So with this primer, I know how it performs. I know that I like it. So that's why I'm going to use that one. So now I'm just going to go in and apply the foundation. I have the shade F7 like I said, and this does have a doe foot applicator. I know a lot of people aren't crazy about it, but I personally like these types of applicator. Like, look how light that is. It's going to be super light on me. I know, you guys. I don't really love the type of applicator that it has, but I feel like it really helps me monitor how much foundation I'm applying. And I really like too that I don't ever forget to wipe it off my hand. That's something I always forget to do. So we're just going in and blending this out with our Real Techniques. I call it the Face and Body Sponge, but I know that's not the name of it. I think it's called the like Face and Body Miracle Complexion Sponge or something like that. It's just the Miracle Complexion Sponge, just the bigger size of it. So we are blending this out. This blends out super nice. It looks very matte to me. I guess it's not really too light. Like, it matches my neck, so we're not too light. So okay, people probably won't come for me that bad. So let me go in on the other side. And I just like to really use the product that really comes out on the applicator, because I mean, I'm going to eventually use it anyways, because I'm a full, like, I wouldn't say full coverage, I'm like a medium to full coverage type of person. This is definitely full coverage for sure, because I mean, look how much that covers. Like, that covered all the imperfections that I had on my skin. So I think this blends out really nicely with a sponge. I've asked you guys before if you want me to do like half of my face with a brush and then half of my face with a sponge, but you guys didn't care because I kept saying like I don't love doing them that way, because I know I'm never going to be a person that prefers a brush application. I'm always going to favor a sponge. So this is why I do the same application on my entire face, just because I know what I like, and I just don't think it would be helpful if I was showing you guys it with a brush and I know I'd be like, nope, I fucking hate this. So that is why I do use a sponge on my entire face. So this blends out really, really nicely. I can't get over like how much lighter my skin is now. I had such a nice tan and now I'm all pasty and shit, but we're going on vacation at the end of this month, so hopefully I get my tan back a little bit. I always prefer everything when I have a tan. Like, I always prefer my makeup. I always just prefer just the way that I look in general when I'm more tan. So I'm really hoping I get a good tan when we're on vacation. So this is definitely full coverage. I don't think it has like that real skin look. Like, I don't think my skin looks natural at all right now, but this is definitely full coverage. As far as lightweight goes, it doesn't really feel like anything's on my face right now. Let's see, what else does it say? Buildable coverage. So let's go in. I don't really feel like I would need to build up anything with the amount that I used. Let's go in. I need a little bit more, like right in this area. I like to go over a couple spots over here. Let's go over my cheek area. We'll see how buildable this is. So it definitely layers nicely. I don't think it cakes up or anything like that. It really does. It layers actually really nice. I'm trying to avoid this area just because I will go in with concealer. That blended really nicely over the top. I'm going to add a little bit more on my forehead just to really get an overall how it layers all over the face, because my forehead is typically a little bit drier. But I'm not noticing clinginess. I'm not noticing anything like that. My skin's not really that dry. I just put all my skincare and stuff on too. But I feel like it's definitely lightweight, buildable, full coverage. What else do we got? Long lasting, we don't know yet. Demi matte finish. I think this looks really matte right now. So I wouldn't really give it a demi matte finish, but maybe throughout the day it will get to a demi matte finish. We will see. Alright, so I think I'm going to be good on foundation. So you guys saw that applied super easy with a sponge, really quick. Like, that's why I love the sponge. It makes everything so fast. I want to add a little bit more in this area right here. I feel like just by looking at this foundation right now, my nose is going to be the big problem area with this foundation, just because I see how it's kind of clinging around my nose. Like in that crease area, I know I hit that with foundation and it's really separating right there. I'm just going to really press this into where all of my large pores are. All right, so that's a little bit better. Okay, so first glance at it, I'm going to pull you guys in closer just so you guys can really see what I'm talking about with my, like, I'm gonna say first impressions loosely because like I said, I have worn this already, but my first impressions really looking at this foundation. So pulling you guys in a little bit closer, you guys can really see what I'm talking about. So I feel like the problem area is really going to be my nose with this foundation. I'm just not really loving how my nose looks or my forehead. I think my forehead looks really unflattering right now. Like if I were to initially apply this foundation and look at my skin, I'd be like, there's no fucking way I'm wearing this. Like I just prefer more like healthy skin or really skin-like foundations right now. And that's why I was kind of lenient if I wanted to try this foundation, because I did see that it was a full coverage and more matte foundation, but the demi matte gave me a little bit of hope and the skin-like finish gave me a lot more hope for this foundation. So I'm going to try not to judge it too harshly right now because it could change throughout the day and as I put the products on top of it. This is just primer and foundation and that's it. So I feel like the nose area is going to be an issue. I feel like my pores are still pretty predominant with this foundation. It doesn't really help me hide anything. So that's kind of a downfall. I was really hoping that this would do a little bit more for that. And I'm really not liking how it looks right in my like nose creases. I feel like it looks really cakey and heavy right there. I'm going to try not to do too much powder there just to really see how it wears. But other than that, like I'm not loving this foundation. I do feel like when you first apply it and then it dries down, it does dry down darker. I definitely think I look a little bit darker now that it's dried down, and it still doesn't feel like it's dried down completely. So that's just one thing to be mindful for. Just overall, my first impression, I'm not loving it so far, but I'm still going to wear it throughout the day. I'm gonna do it for you guys. I'm gonna try to stick it out. We'll see how long I can wear it for. So I'm going to do the rest of my makeup and then I will check back in with you guys just so you guys can see how it's looking with everything on top of it. All right, so I wanted to check in with you guys really quick before I spray my face. This is all of my face makeup completely done. I think my pore area looks a lot better. I'm actually going to pull you guys in so you guys can see it, but I feel like it looks better, but it's still not like my all-time favorite. It is still looking really accentuated right here, whereas usually this is the main area that I have the issues with, but I'm noticing them a lot down here. And I did put a little bit of highlighter down there, but I noticed it before I did that. So let me pull you guys in just so you guys can see really what I'm talking about. So this is where you can get a closer look. So my forehead is looking a little bit better. It's still not like my all-time favorite the way that it looks, but I think it's a lot better than it looked before. So I would recommend, if you're having any doubts about this foundation, I would definitely encourage you guys to set it with a powder, because I do feel like powder really helped, and I feel like spraying my face is going to help it even more. So the only area that I'm not really loving is this area right here and then around my nose. Like when I spray my face, I'm going to have to go like that with my nose, just so the spray can hopefully get in that area to really help with just the cakiness of it, because it looks really heavy just in this area, but I think everywhere else it looks pretty good. Like it blended out really nicely. I think it looks not horrible. I don't think it looks as matte anymore, but it's still not like demi matte to me. It's still pretty matte. So I just wanted you guys to see what it's looking like with all of my powders on, and then I will show you guys again with everything completely done, with my face sprayed and everything, and then we'll see what my thoughts are when I get to that point. So right now I'm feeling a little bit better about that part of it. So let me finish the rest of my makeup and then I'll be back when everything's completely done. Alright guys, so this is my makeup completely done. We're feeling super pink today. This is such a different look for me and I'm kind of living for it. How you like my foundation?
Looks chalky.
Chalky?
Yeah.
That's all you got for me?
White.
Well, we knew that.
Definitely not flawless like that other shit.
Like the one yesterday?
Yeah.
What was I wearing yesterday? Oh, Marc Jacobs.
I like your lips.
Thanks.
I really like them.
Alright, so this is my makeup completely done. I did everything as I usually would. I have you guys pulled in closer so you guys could really see everything that I'm talking about when saying like my first impressions on it. So first off, if you're wondering what's on my eyes right now, it's the ColourPop Super Shock Shadow in the shade Be Our Guest. And then I also have the ColourPop and Disney It's a Princess Thing eyeshadow palette. I have the shades Chip and Juju. Those are both in my crease. And that is everything that's on my eyes right now. And then what's on my lips is the Jeffree Star Cosmetics Velour Liquid Lipstick in the shade Doll Part. So I know you guys will probably ask, so I wanted to tell you guys what those were, but back to the foundation. So my initial impression of this, even though it's my second time wearing it, really looking at my skin, I honestly do not like it. It's just really accentuating all of my texture. Like I said, I have really textured skin. That's my biggest insecurity, and foundation is the biggest thing to really help me minimize the appearance of that and just really help hide my texture. So I'm really noticing texture, especially in my forehead, like you guys can clearly see that right now. And then I have a lot of my large pores happening right here. In my nose area, it's looking a little bit heavier, and overall, I'm just not really loving it. And my husband actually just walked in and he's like, you look chalky. And he was just like, you don't look flawless like you did yesterday. Yesterday I was wearing the Marc Jacobs Remarkable foundation. That's the foundation I was wearing in my Disney Times ColourPop tutorial. If I have that up already, I'll leave it up here, or it will be coming soon. That's the foundation I'm wearing in that video. So he is comparing it basically to that yesterday because he can never keep all of my foundation straight. So he did not like this on me. He says it just looks very unflattering on my skin. So I completely agree. I'm curious to see how this wears throughout the day. He did say that it looks better in the camera than it does in person. So just take that in consideration. Like, I personally think it looks worse looking in this mirror in front of me than it does looking in the viewfinder right now. Like, in the viewfinder, I don't think it looks as bad, but in person, it just looks really heavy looking, even though it doesn't feel heavy. Like, I don't feel like I overdid it at all. Like, I normally put way more foundation on than I did today. So overall, my first impression of it, I'm not really loving it, but I'm still gonna wear it for you guys. So that's my initial first impression. So revisiting all of these little notes that we had. So lightweight feeling, definitely, I completely agree with that. Buildable coverage, it definitely had buildable coverage. I think it layered really nicely on top. And another thing I wanted to add was when I was blending out my contour and everything like that, my powders did not disturb it at all. So that's one thing I really did like about it. Long lasting, we're gonna find out. Demi matte finish, I do not think this is demi matte. I feel like this is a flat matte foundation. Back in the day, I used to love nothing but matte foundations. I'm over here now like, give me all the healthy finish foundations, like that's my jam right now. So this is just something really different for me right now. Won't settle into fine lines or cling in dry patches. I don't have dry patches, but I think it does cling like in my creases. I shouldn't say it clings, it really repelled my creases at first, but then when I added more in there, it really like clinged in there. So it was like, there was no really good way to work with it, at least just my first impression on it. Some foundations, like the Beauty Bakery foundation, take more than one time using it to really figure out like how it works and how it looks the best on your skin. And then the last thing is the Real Skin finish. I don't think my skin looks like natural skin whatsoever. It's 12 o'clock right now, so I'm going to count 11 as my initial applying this because I did do my whole face and then I got distracted by Instagram. So 11 o'clock is when I initially put this on my skin, so I'm going to do check-ins throughout the day, like every few hours. So 11 o'clock is the initial start time, and then we'll see how long I can wear this for. So I will check back in with you guys in a couple hours. All right, you guys, really quick check-in. It's 1 o'clock now. Look at my fucking nose already. Like, I have not even touched my nose and it's breaking apart so bad right where that pimple is. I hope you guys can see that. Like, it hasn't even been 2 hours since I applied this foundation. I can't believe that. That's crazy. And it looks horrible. It looks so bad on my skin. Like, I borderline want to take all of this off and redo my makeup, but I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do it. I'm going to wear the foundation. Hope for the best. I'm going to actually take my sponge right now and just try to go over it and hopefully fix this disaster. I just happened to look in the mirror. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me already? It's not fixing. I'm just going to, I guess, live with it throughout the day, but it is just something I wanted you guys to be aware of. Like that pimple even stands out even more now. I'm so annoyed at the moment. Let me try to take more powder. I cannot. If I were not doing a wear test right now, I would just take this off because I am just that annoyed. Not even 2 hours and it's already breaking up. That's just not a good sign. So I'm going to try to delicately work with this, but I just wanted to check in really quick with you guys to show you guys that, but it's not really fixing itself, so I'm not going to go too much crazier with anything on it just because I don't want to make it look worse than it already does. So I just wanted you guys to see that it's already breaking up and it hasn't even been 2 hours. It hasn't even been an hour since my last check-in. Actually, it's been like an hour and 4 minutes since my first initial like check-in with all my makeup done. So yeah, I just wanted to show you guys that really quick, so I'll be back in hopefully a couple hours from now. All right, you guys. It's only 4:15 and I'm beyond ready to take this makeup off. Like, it looks so much better in the viewfinder than it does in person. When I zoom you guys in, you're gonna see how truly bad it looks. This just emphasizes so much texture. Like, I have textured skin, but this almost makes it look like I have more texture than I really do. So you guys saw the first problem I had was on my nose. I don't even know what caused that. Maybe I touched it, but I don't believe that I did. It just started to really break apart. So the tip of my nose, I'm not going to look at it too much because I did put more powder on top of it. But overall, it broke up so bad. But I'm already noticing, like, even underneath my nose, like I have not blown my nose, nothing, not touched my nose. If anything, I've gone like this to itch my nose, but I haven't gone like this. I'm very cautious about doing that stuff when I'm doing a wear test. But even still, even if I wasn't cautious, in real life, you're gonna itch your nose, you're gonna do this stuff. It shouldn't transfer or break apart after this short of amount of time when it claims to be a long wearing foundation. Like this claims to be long wearing and I've had it on since 11 o'clock and it's only 4:15. It should not be breaking apart like this, at least to me. Me personally, when I'm looking for a foundation, I want it to last a long time, but even if it breaks apart, I want it to wear gracefully. I don't want it to look like this. I don't want it to look like it adds texture to my face. Like, I really hope when I zoom you guys in, you guys can really see what I'm talking about, because it does not look as bad in the viewfinder as it does in person. So let me pull you guys in closer so you guys can get a better look at what the fuck is going on my face. So I'm pulling you guys in really close just so you could hopefully get a really good look at what's going on, because I do want you guys to see how this is wearing on my skin. And this doesn't mean that it's going to wear the same way on you, but this is my main issue right here. Like in this area, in my nose creases, like underneath my nose, like shit is just not looking cute. Everything else looks decent. My forehead has a ton of texture on it, which it always does, but that's one thing I need in a foundation, is for it to not emphasize this right here. I actually just went on Instagram to ask you guys if you still wanted me to upload this video, because I'm not wearing it for a long period of time. Like, I don't think 6 hours is a long time for a foundation wear test, especially for a long lasting one, but I got shit to do and I literally cannot stand the way that my face looks or feels. Like, it feels greasy. Like, it doesn't really look that greasy in person until I'm in like the sunlight. I just don't feel like it looks good at all. This is not my type of foundation. Maybe for you it might be. I think if you have more oily skin, maybe. Even still though, I just don't think it's very flattering at all. Like, I feel like if you have dry skin, this is gonna be a nightmare for you, but I don't have dry skin, I don't have oily skin, so I can't really say yes or no for you. I would encourage you guys, like, if you're interested enough in this foundation, go out and purchase it, because it's only $12, so it's worth a try at least, I think. But I'm just so surprised because I keep hearing such amazing things. Like Casey Holmes, which me and her always have really similar likes and dislikes, she loves this foundation. She says, oh, my pores look like they're vanished. I'm like, bitch, where? Like, mine are like standing out like crazy. So everybody has different experiences with different products. So I'm going to pull you guys back out and we'll finish up this shitstorm, at least for me, shitstorm. Alright, so let's just get this wrapped up. Let me revisit all of my little notes here. So first thing was lightweight. Do I think it's lightweight? Initially, yes, absolutely. When you first apply it, you definitely feel that it's lightweight, but as you're wearing it, I'm noticing it a lot more, and it starts to get really like, it's like oily feeling, but it's not looking oily. It just feels very like gross on your face, at least to me. I'm noticing the foundations there. Like, I was wearing the Marc Jacobs Remarkable foundation last night and I forgot I had makeup on. Like, I almost went to bed and I was like, oh shit, I forgot I had like a full face of makeup on. That's what I consider a lightweight foundation. So I think initially with this one, it's very lightweight, but as you wear it, it definitely gets like heavier and cakier, and I don't know, I'm just so disappointed, but I kind of had a feeling I wasn't going to like this foundation just because I really didn't like the concealer. Anyways, we'll go back to our little list here. So buildable coverage, it's definitely buildable coverage, although I don't think you really need to build it that much. Like, I could have gotten away with not building it up on my cheeks. I just wanted to see if it was a buildable foundation. So I definitely think it's buildable. I think it has a great shade range, oil-free, which is awesome. I love when foundations are oil-free. Long lasting, I don't think so. For a long wearing foundation to already break apart like it is right here, absolutely not. It is not long lasting, at least to me. Demi matte finish, I feel like the more that I wear it, the demi matte is coming out, but I feel like when you first apply it, is definitely more like a full matte. But now I feel like it's more of a demi matte. So I think it kind of adjusts as your oils start to pull through from your face and everything like that. So I do feel like that is true once you're wearing it for a little while. Won't settle into fine lines or cling. It is definitely clinging in this little nose area, which I consider that not a fine line, but that's lines in my face. And it is starting to really cling there. Maybe it's for me putting more foundation in that area. I don't really know, because this is like a first impression kind of. But I just remember when I wore this the last time, I didn't wear it for that long, so I didn't notice the breaking apart or anything like that. Like, I think I wore it for maybe like 3 or 4 hours. So I didn't really notice or feel anything different until like this last hour, and I was just like, oh, my face just feels gross. Like, that's what it feels like. It just feels gross to me. And then the Real Skin Finish, and I don't agree with that whatsoever. Like, I think this looks very unnatural. I think it looks like I'm wearing a full face of foundation, which for a real skin finish, it's not supposed to look like it's a full coverage foundation. So that's my overall thoughts and opinions on this foundation. I don't really love it, but that does not mean that you won't love it. I would encourage you guys, if you're interested in it, give it a try. It's only $12. And I forgot to mention the packaging on it. It's really nice packaging. I mentioned the doe foot applicator. It has the big jumbo doe foot, which is awesome. And it does have a glass bottle. So I feel like for what you're paying for, you get almost a fluid ounce. So 12 bucks for this, I don't think is bad. So if you're interested in it, try it. Just because I don't like it does not mean that you're not gonna like it. So that's it for today's video. I'm sorry I didn't make it much longer than 6 hours, but I just can't. I can't deal with my skin looking like this, and I got shit to do. But I'm sorry, you guys. I was really hoping I would love this foundation, but unfortunately, this one was an epic fail for me. And if there's any other foundations you guys want to see in the future, please leave them in the comments down below, because I really do enjoy doing these videos. I just really enjoy doing them more when it's a foundation I actually end up liking. So that's it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I hope to see you guys in my next one. Peace!